How's it going, YouTube? DM Tombstone Belts back here again with a brand new video. And today this is part 6 of the how-to series of making the belts. And basically, from our last recap, we were talking about marking out the strap and cutting it out. This is the back layer of my strap that I haven't cut out yet, but I will get to it. But so far right now, we got this. I got about 3 or 4 of these. Well, actually 3 right here, and that 4th one will be the final layer. I want to mention, you want to make sure the fact you have enough layers, but not too much. Like, maximum would be like 3 to 4 layers, depending on the belt. And depending on how you do that for this part. Basically, this part is about marking up where you're going to put the plates or where the bolts are going to be at. And also stitching on your snap box, or putting the snap box on the strap. And then the next part would be as well, putting the plates on the strap, but as well keeping the curving the plates and putting the curve on your belt. So now when the belt is put together, like when you put the plates on the strap, that curve is in there. But in the meantime, guys, I want to first start with this part where we're going to mark out where the bolts are going to be on your strap. If you're not doing it with the bolts, it's quite obviously you just put the plate on, stitch the plate on, or glue it, or some way for it to keep the plate on that strap, and then that'll be it. But for me, I'm going for more of the realistic look and using the bolts. Obviously, mark it out, you could probably be accurate to where you're going to mark it. But for me, this is my tactic. I mostly use paint. Paint around the... Well, I would first take the bolt off. You can see there's paint around there already. You take the bolt off. Put a ring of paint where the nut is on all of them. And gently lower it in the area where you want to put the plate on the belt. Like this. Then you press down firmly to make sure that paint sticks to the leather. Most of the time I would use my fabric paint because it's the only paint that will dry up and it'll stick to the strap. And then you will get something like this, where you mark out all your plates, or where the bolts are going to be at in your plate. And then I'd say then you could continue on by probably about the strap from the last part, about cutting out your snap box. Always make sure you have your snap box. And it could be any size. It could be for the 2x7, 2x8s, 2x6s, and 2x5s. For me, I have ones for 2x5, 2x7. So basically one's smaller than the other. And then you apply them to the top layer of your belt. And this is the part where I recommend you either have a sewing machine or you have some skill in sewing, because this is where you're gonna stitch the snap box onto the strap to keep all the... I do this just to make sure all the layers are aligned properly, because you don't want to cut the excess trim off when you have the layers perfectly even, or they're basically evenly matched, because that means like the filament is probably going to be shorter than the outside and the inside layer. I mean, if that's okay to do. But as well, I recommend doing this with a sewing machine, because it's much less effort to hand stitch mostly. But for me, I don't own a sewing machine, so I have to hand stitch. Let me set this camera up right. Basically, I'm trying to fix this up. Alright, I'm going to put the strap right there so you can see it on camera. And basically, I'm using a leather glove just to protect my hands, because I've been doing this for a while and you get a lot of sores on your hands. And then you would just basically stitch. You can use any type of stitching style you want. I mean, I would recommend basically where you just, do like stitch to the snap box and then draw that sew out to where the stitching is going to the main strap. Basically like a diagonal where it goes from snap box to the outside. Because to me, it's not I haven't seen that at any replica belt, or let alone on any belt. And it's gonna look stupid. I mean, unless you like it like that, then I'm saying just do you. But if you're doing hand stitching and you don't own a sewing machine, I mean, best bet, just be careful using this, because I meant to say, if you have, because many times I had belts that literally had so thick of layers that the needle snapped. I've gone through at least 2 needles trying to stitch these belts together. All my belts I've done were hand stitched by me, so I put a lot of effort, and literally it's a lot of patience to put these belts together. So remember, guys, just have a lot of patience. You don't want to over rush these, because next thing you know, because the way you do, you make sure you have enough length of thread to stitch around the snap box and have access left to make sure the snap boxes hold on there tight. If you rush through it, next thing you know, you're going to get knots in your thread, and you don't want that, because next thing you know, that's going to really be a bad day. I mean, unless you did, like for me, I admit, before I recorded this video, I was stitching the other snap box on and had a knot in it, and I couldn't get it out. And it was really, I mean, I wasn't that upset because it was in the beginning part of stitching the snap box on, but so you just got to cut it off and you just got to redo it again. But if it was like halfway through or nearly done and that happens, and you just like, you got to literally may have to start all over again depending on how it is, it really will make you up. It really upset your day. And nobody likes the fact to start over from scratch. Not even me. But anyway, you stitch the snap box on. Make sure you go. To me, you want to do like you don't want to do like long length stitches to where there's gaps in it. You want to try to keep all the stitching tight. Like you see in the replica belts, they have those stitch on snap boxes. Those stitches are always packed tight, close to each other. Basically, that's what I want to do. Then you would just continue on stitching those snap boxes on. And of course, I'm not going to as you can see right now, I'm finishing up the final snap box, but I'm not going to just I'm not going to continue to finish. I'm not going to finish it probably, because it's going to probably take another few minutes or so. I don't want to add 10 minutes to this video. It's getting already 8 minutes already. I don't want just 10 minutes of me stitching the snap box on. But once you stitch the snap boxes on, you can either now mark out where you're going to put your snaps, because that's going to be important for later. Or you could go on for the next part where you cut out the holes where you mark, or you cut holes into where you mark where the bolts are going to go, because that's going to help out to where you're going to put the plate on. And that's going to be in the next part. But in the meantime, guys, I'm going to just end this video. So I'm going to finish up the snap box off camera, and I'm going to end this video. So don't forget to like this video, don't forget to share, don't forget to subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment below as well. Remember, guys, I got a Twitter page, so if you're on Twitter, follow me on Twitter at DMTombstone96. This is DM Tombstone Belts. See you guys in the next video.